What up, PB Cashewville? It's your boy Cashew, and today we are going to be talking about the Super Bowl. We're also going to be talking about WWE and Wrestlemania, and we're also going to be talking about the Knicks and the NBA trade deadline. But before we do that, right beside me is going to be our TikTok and Instagram. Leave a follow and leave a like. Hit it. What up, PB Cashewville? It's Cashew again, doing a solo. I do hope you did like our episode for last week, and I really was thinking about this. Maybe I might do that sometimes, where I'm out and about and I might record. I thought it was a pretty cool episode. I like that. Also, like we told you, the one in Massachusetts, the one that was supposed to be out 2 years ago, I actually did edit it, but that's not coming out till Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys do enjoy that. I'm telling you that in advance, though. But like I said, today we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl, my predictions of who I think is going to win, WWE and Wrestlemania, which is really good, and obviously the Knicks and the NBA trade deadline. I guess you could call this Cashew Sports Talks, because I couldn't figure out what I want to talk about, and there's just so many things I could talk about, and I just chose these three. So let's get into it. As you can see, I have my Knicks gear on. We're not going to talk about that first. We are going to talk about the Super Bowl. And I just got to say, Kansas and the Niners, the 49ers and Kansas is going to be an interesting game. I'm not too into football like that. I do keep in touch, though. I have Bleachers Report, and it gives me trades. It tells me who's really hot. But I'm going to say the Kansas Chiefs are going to win it. I can't go against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is just a GOAT. Like, he's great. And he's a great athlete, a great quarterback. And I don't know, I can't say no to him. I can't say that he's not going to lose. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win. I think the score is going to be close. I think it's going to be 27-24. I think that's what will happen. And like I said, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Also, it's going to be awesome is the halftime. I want to see how that's going to be. Usher is performing, and when I was little, I used to listen to Usher. So I wonder how he's going to do in the halftime show. And I can't wait for the Super Bowl. It's tomorrow. And my predictions, like I said, I think Kansas Chiefs is going to win 27-24. I think it's going to be a close one. And I think Kansas is going to pull off, and Patrick Mahomes is going to get another ring. And Travis Kelce is also going to get another ring. All right. Get that out the way, because like I said, I don't know that much about football. Let's talk about the WWE and wrestling and the road to WrestleMania. First of all, I just want to say, the one who's my brother is a big wrestling fan, and he's a big wrestling fan. Me personally, when I was little and maybe a teenager, I used to love watching wrestling. I used to loving watching WWE. I used to love seeing like John Cena, The Big Show, Randy Orton, Kane, Daniel Bryan. Like, I used to love seeing those guys. Now we got new guys like Carmelo Hayes. You got CM Punk is back, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. But the road to WrestleMania, now this is a crazy, because if you ever seen WWE, you know that their biggest pay-per-view is WrestleMania, and they try to have the biggest matches. And as you know, recently, Triple H is taking over creative, being the creator, like creative stuff in WWE. And when I say this, I'm just being honest with you, Triple H has been making some hits, has been cooking lately. And right now in wrestling, you have The Rock. So let me backtrack a little bit. So Vince finally sold WWE to TKO. TKO is also, they own UFC. So TKO is a company that owns UFC and WWE. Recently, TKO hired The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, to be a board for them. And ever since that, The Rock has always been pushing Roman Reigns versus The Rock. He always wanted to do Roman Reigns versus The Rock. And Roman Reigns, if you want to know, is Dwayne Johnson's cousin. And what's interesting about it is he's finally, he's aborted TKO, and he comes back, and he pitches the idea to do Roman versus The Rock. And they said, okay, we're for it. Now here's where I say I think The Rock or Dwayne Johnson has been helping a lot with WWE and cooking recently. And I think what's gonna happen is I think Dwayne Johnson's gonna help a lot of superstars like Cody Rhodes, for example, who if Cody Rhodes is another WWE superstar who came back, was it last year or 2 years ago? Came back 2 years ago. He never won the undisputed champion, and now he has a chance to what they like to call it finish his story because he did fought Roman Reigns last year in WrestleMania. He lost. He's fighting Roman Reigns this year at WrestleMania, but here's the catch. The catch is now The Rock is in the story, like in the storyline. So I wonder how they're gonna make this fold because Thursday they had a Vegas talk a Vegas show. It's their press conference, and that press conference was going to announce all the WrestleMania matches, who's going to fight who, what's going to happen, and Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, and he chose Dwayne Johnson. He chose Roman Reigns, and like I said, it's going to be crazy because The Rock is such a he's a big Hollywood star, but also back back in the 2000s and 1990s, he was a big name in WWE pro wrestling. That's where he actually started from. He started from wrestling. If you don't know Dwayne Johnson's story, it was he wanted to be a football player, but he got injured, and so he couldn't do that. His career was over. But his father and his grandfather, and I also think his uncle, like his family, they were wrestlers and they were in the WWE, and so he got a shine in the WWE. I think when he first started, he was called Balboa, Rocky Balboa or something like that. But then like that didn't went well, and so they changed his personality. They changed him. He changed himself, and he became The Rock, and he became a hit superstar and a mega WWE superstar. And then he went to Hollywood. After Hollywood, he went to he went back and forth. Sometimes he'll come back to WWE. But I think it was in 2000. The last match he actually had to be around. I can't remember which WrestleMania. I want to say it was like WrestleMania 32 or 33, maybe 34. But he hasn't been in the WWE. He comes once in a while, just so like once in a while. So now he's back. So this is what, like I said, is interesting to me because since he's a big superstar, he's a big name, not only in Hollywood but also in WWE. He's bigger than honestly, he's bigger than Roman Reigns. He's bigger than Cody Rhodes. He's bigger than like Seth Rollins. So all these guys, like these superstars now, he's gonna put over. And when I mean put over, it's like he's gonna make the fans love them more. He's gonna make them become more popular, more bigger. And I like that about it, because like now that Dwayne Johnson is back, he can help like these younger stars, younger WWE superstars, like a Cody Rhodes, like a Seth Rollins, who they're already known, but he can help them get bigger. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's awesome. A lot of people said that, and another thing too is like people booed. Like when they found out The Rock might fight Roman Reigns, they just booed The Rock, and it's crazy. And I think The Rock and the WWE and Triple H, I think they're cooking up something really good, and I think Triple H's been doing a phenomenal job. So I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do in WrestleMania. Now, we're gonna talk about the Knicks and the NBA trade deadline, which I was very excited. I was very happy because I think the Knicks got a lot better. So earlier before like the trade deadline happened in February 8th. But before the trade deadline, I think 2 weeks ago was it or 3 weeks ago, the Knicks did acquire OG Anunoby and Precious Achua and Malachi Flynn for RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and I think like 2 first-round picks, which I think was a smart idea, and not first round, 2 second-round picks. And I think that was like I said, I love Quickly. I love RJ Barrett. They're doing phenomenal. They're doing phenomenal in the Raptors right now. And I think that was a good trade because I'm gonna say I want to apologize to Precious Achua because Precious Achua has been playing phenomenal for the Knicks. And OG's now he's hurt. He's hurt right now, but when he was playing for the Knicks, he was playing phenomenal. And then Malachi Flynn, he's gone, and I'll explain more about it. Well, you would think that okay, the Knicks are in a they're in a good position. What else can they do? Well, let me just say that the Knicks decided to go talk to the Detroit Pistons, who had Alex Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic, and they had got them. Now, I want to say something before. I want to say this is that there's only one player in that trade that it kind of hurts me that they're gone, but I believe this is a better opportunity for them to grow and get better, and that is Quentin Grimes. I love Quentin Grimes. I think Quentin Grimes is a great defender. I think Quentin Grimes is a great 3-point shooter. I think it's better for him because now he doesn't have to worry about if he's going to get benched or not. I think he can worry about him trying to be better, worry about he doesn't have to worry about being benched if he misses a shot. He doesn't have to worry about if he loses his defender by accident. He won't have to worry about getting benched because now he's going to be in a Detroit Pistons team that is very young and that he can help. So, I hope he does well in the Pistons, and I really believe he's going to be a great player. They traded, finally, I'm going to say this, they finally traded Evan Fournier. No disrespect to Evan Fournier, it's just that he didn't fit well with the Knicks, and he wasn't a great defender, and he really struggled. He really struggled. And, we finally got that contract out of there. We traded him. And then we traded Malachi Flynn and for 2 second-round picks as well with that to get Alex Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic. And what's crazy was I think it was Charles Barkley said, you know what's crazy? And this is the truth. He said, you know what's crazy? A lot of teams were trying to get at least different teams were trying to get one of the other guy between Alex Burks or Bojan. While the Knicks got both of them. And what's more crazy is the Knicks still has first-round picks, so they're set if they want to use those 2 guys to trade them off to get a bigger player, like a bigger name, they can do that. But this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this. A fully healthy Knicks squad can go all the way. They can make it to the finals. A fully healthy Knicks squad, in my personal opinion, can make it to the finals. You might say you're being biased, but I look at the Knicks now, and I'm just like, they're very, they're very well trained. Not trained, but they're very well, they're very balanced. Because you have defense and offense. You got defense in OG Anunoby, defense in when Mitchell Robinson comes back, Mitchell Robinson, defense in Isaiah Hartenstein, Deontay DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. Alex Burks is a pretty decent defender. And you got also offense. Offense with Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson. Now you got it with the Alec Burks, Bojan Bogdanovic, Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby. So you got balance with the defensive end and the offensive end. And I forgot to say for defense also OG. So it's a very balanced team where I could say the only team I could think that's very balanced with the defense and the offense is in the East is the Celtics. I can only think of the Celtics. The Bucks don't have that. The Bucks defense isn't that great. Orlando is still young and they don't have the best defense either. Indiana Pacers, same thing. They don't have the best defense and they're still young. I really could say maybe Cavaliers. I could say maybe Cleveland does have a balance with that. But I still think the Knicks are still better than the Cavaliers. So I really gotta say, I really do believe the Knicks have balance, and I think the Knicks can make it far this year. I really do believe the Knicks can make it to the finals. And if it's not the finals, they can make it to Eastern Conference Finals. And I also gonna say, I really do believe that if you face the Knicks, it's gonna be a tough challenge, because they're not gonna lose without a fight. And that's the one thing I like about the Knicks is that, what game was it? I think it was Thursday's game, right? Yeah, it was against the Mavs. It was Thursday, after the trade deadline. Um, the Knicks are shorthanded. They don't have Mitchell Robinson. They didn't have Julius. They didn't have Julius Randle. They didn't have Isaiah Hartenstein got hurt in that game. They didn't have Jalen Brunson. They didn't have Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Mitchell, OG, Isaiah Hartenstein. I think Jericho Sims, Quentin Grimes got traded. So they were like shorthanded. They only had like available. They had like 7 to 8 guys, and they fought back. Like they were losing, but they came back. Like they were coming back. They fought back. They didn't quit. They didn't say, "Oh, we're gonna let the Mavericks just demolish us." They like kept fighting, and that's what the one thing I love about the Knicks, and that's why I think, and that's why I think the Knicks have an advantage here. I think the Knicks can make it to the finals. Do I think they can win the chip? I believe they can. Is it gonna? I gotta. That's why I believe. I know you might say I'm being biased because I'm a Knicks fan, but also I just look at it too, and I'm just saying you got a guy who averaged 20 points coming off the bench. Another guy you just got another guy who averaged 15 points coming off the bench, maybe 14 to 15 points off the bench, who can they can both create their own shots. Alex Burks could play the point guard sometimes, and Boyan can he could create his own shots. And then you have 5 players, I think it's 5 to 4 players. Yeah, 5 to 4 players that are 40%. Jalen Brunson's 40% 3-point percentage. Dante DiVincenzo's 40% 3-point percentage. I think Boyan is 40% 3-point percentage. Alex Burks is 40 points in 3-point percentage, 40% in 3-point percentage. And I think also OJ in the corner is like around 40%. So you got guys that can shoot the ball. And now, teams have been doubling Jalen Brunson. Since now he has shooters, he could pass to those shooters. Same thing with Julius Randle. They like to double team Julius Randle. Now that Julius Randle has shooters, he could pass them, and now teams are gonna have to be like, do we risk doubling them and having their other guys who are 40% in the 3-point percentage shoot and maybe make that shot, or do we not double team them? And if you don't double team them, and if you ISO them, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson likes to go 1-on-1 sometimes, and they make their shots when it's 1-on-1. So that's why I say I think the Knicks have a really good shot at making it to the finals. They have a balanced roster. I love the trade. I love everything about it. And I really, really hope that, everybody can get healthy by the playoffs time. And I hope that the Knicks can, keep racking up wins. The Knicks are the 4th seed right now. Maybe they could be the 3rd or 2nd seed. Even the 1st seed. First seed's a little stretch because they're like, I want to say like 6 to 7 games away from the 1st seed. But who knows? They could be the 3rd or 2nd seed. And if they are, that's great because then they get home court advantage in the playoffs. But like I said, I think the Knicks did a great job in the trade deadline. And there's other teams that did good in the trade deadline. I think the Mavs did good. The Thunders did pretty good. So like there's other teams I think that also did good. I would say this. The one team I think that did the worst, that didn't even do anything, was the Bulls, which I was so shocked and confused about. But like I said, I think the Knicks did a good job. And I think everything was going to work out fine. And I'm just excited to see how the new pieces that the Knicks got are going to help. They played today, so hopefully we can get that dub. We're facing the Pacers. And that's just my little take on everything. I know it's a short episode. I try to be short. I don't want to be too long no more. I'm trying to balance being short and long. Last episode was, I think, like 27 minutes. I don't know how long this episode's going to be, but I really do hope you enjoyed this episode. And before I go, like we always say before we end the show, we don't know you, but we love you. And there's a God above that does. I'm Cashew. Peace out, PB Cashewville.